Shalom Israel, this is the I.S.U.P.K, Historical Truths Revealed class, and today we are going to get into a topic. And today's topic is Easter and Passover, alright? And the reason why today, in these times, this topic is very important because, as you may know, what a lot of people don't know is that the Christians, make a comparison with Easter and Passover to be the same thing. But what you don't understand, and what a lot of people don't know also, is that Passover is the holiday or the high holy day that is supposed to be celebrated amongst the Hebrews, amongst the Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians that are in the ghettos today of America, all right, and outside of America as well, okay? All right, so, hey, shalom, sis. All right, so we're gonna read a little bit of history about this homosexual holiday, Easter. I call every holiday homosexual. All right, Salaki. Hey, shalom, Christ. Salaki. Let me call you right back. Teacher class. What's yeah, come on, Salaki. I'm teaching class. Salaki. Let me call you right back. Long. All right, shalom, Christ. All right. That man crazy. Salaki for that. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the history of Easter and Passover, all right? Because what you got to know is that March 30th, man. What is that, like 2 days now? 2 days. March 30th, 49th annual Passover is on its way, hosted by the leader of Israel, commanding GEN.YAHANNA. All right, Roosevelt Ballroom, 2nd Hudson Street, Yonkers, New York. All right, $200 per person, per family. You better get your behind there, man. It's going to be lit. It's going to be one of those days that you will never forget. Passover is just one of those, exciting places, man. It's one of those places that you have to be at. Everybody always spend all their money up for a concert, for a special event. Well, the Passover is that special event.
Right.
And it's going to be in 2 days, man. It's going to be a night to remember. For all those who have never been to Passover, you're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to be in a room full of brothers and sisters who have the same exact spirit as you and who are after the same exact mission, which is to wake up Black and Hispanics, man. And with that, we are going to remember. We are going to remember, what the Lord had did for us as a nation. Okay? We're going to get into that a little bit later, but let's get into, the homosexuality of Easter. Last week it was St. Patrick's Day. Now we're on to another homosexual holiday, which is Easter, all right? Go ahead and read the very first one, God. The very first tab. Yeah. All right? I want you to read the title. No, all the way to the top. I want you to read the title first.
Origin of Easter. From pagan festivals and Christianity to bunnies and chocolate eggs.
Mm-hmm. So everybody always wonder, where does the eggs come from? Where does everything else associated with the bunnies and whatever else they got going on as far as Easter come from? Okay? Keep going.
Come. On Easter Sunday, a bunny will deliver chocolate eggs to many households across Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever wondered how this seemingly bizarre tradition came to be?
Right, I'm sure that's what everybody who's watching is trying to figure out. Where did this, this holiday so-called Easter come from? And why do people in America celebrate it today and continue to celebrate it? Keep going.
Well, it turns out Easter actually began as a pagan festival celebrating spring in the northern hemisphere.
In the northern hemisphere, that would be like you said, Australia. That would be like America and other places around the earth. Now, it said pagan festival. If you paid attention to all the holidays that are celebrated in America, they're all what? Pagan festivals. And the festivals always, was worship by, it's worshiping somebody. When you talk about Valentine's Day, that's worshiping a she-wolf, Lupercilia. When you talk about St. Patrick's Day, that's worshiping the shamrock, which is the three-leaf clover, which talks about the Holy Trinity, all right? Which is way off. That's not in the Bible, has nothing to do with Israelites, but Israelites find themselves, joined in to the customs of the heathens. And we wonder why we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We don't understand what the solution is to our problems. We wonder why we die in the streets the way we do on holidays. We are the first casualties ever on holidays. If you don't believe me, look at Chicago. Look at St. Louis. See what I'm saying? Also, the white men would tell you that St. Louis, they would tell you that Chicago is one of the highest murder rates ever. But it's really St. Louis. Come to find out, last year there's an article that came out and exposed everything. Chicago was on the list, that's very true, but St. Louis and Atlanta, those are places where Black and Hispanics die by the highest rate of numbers, man. Don't even speak about California, with different parts and cities of California where brothers and sisters are dying all the time by the hands of not just the white man, but also by the hands of each other, Black and Hispanics, man. And holidays is another excuse to kill and murder. And that's part of the worship in which, these pagan festivals have. If you're talking about, I'm just pretty much going over the timeline, Salakia. If you look at New Year's, January, part of the January festival, man, of the New Year's, murder is a part of it. It is. See what I'm saying? Keep going on that though. That's just a sidebar and additional information. All right, go ahead.
Come. Long before the advent of Christianity, since prehistoric times, people have celebrated the equinoxes and the solstices, right, as the scared times. University of Sydney professor Carol Cusack said, "The spring equinox is a day where the amount of dark and the amount of daylight is exactly identical, so you can tell that you're emerging from winter because the daylight and the dark have came back into balance."
So what that is talking about, it's talking about that Easter is a part of the spring, with the spring of the times changing, like daylight savings time, with how the time changes and the weather changes and it's emerging into a different season. Okay, so they also say that there's a spring goddess connected to Easter as well, but really the spring goddess has something to do with the fertility of a god based off of the pagan festival of Easter. And we're going to get into that in a second. Keep going.
Come. People map their whole life according to the patterns of nature. Following the advent of Christianity, the Easter period became associated with the resurrection of Christ.
And that's a goddamn lie. Because Easter has nothing to do with the resurrection of Christ. And the correct word of resurrection is like reincarnation, okay? Keep going.
In the first couple of centuries after Jesus' life, feast days in the new Christian church were attached to old pagan festivals. Professor Cusack said, spring festivals with the theme of new life and relief from the cold of winter became connected explicitly to Jesus.
Stop right there. So what that is talking about is that it just really exposed all these holidays because they're pagan first off, and they connect Yahweh's name, Yahweh's life story to a lot of these holidays as far as life or death. And that's really just a mockery, and it's really, foolery to think that there's truth in any of these holidays and why we should celebrate it. First off, you got to ask yourself, did Christ celebrate Easter? A lot of people's going to tell you, yeah, but tell them, where is it at in the Bible? And when they show you Acts 12:4, we're going to break it down why it says the word Easter in the Bible. And it should really say Passover or Pesach, which is Hebrew for Passover. Okay? So, keep going.
Comes out. Having conquered death by being resurrected after the crucifixion, Easter's changing date. In 325 AD, the first major church council, the Council of Nicaea, determined that Easter should fall on the Sunday following the full moon after the spring equinox.
Right. So Easter falls on the first Sunday of damn near every month of April, or sometimes March. But then after a while, they change the dates off and on. They change the dates off and on. And ironically, April Fool's Day is the same day as Easter of this year, 2018. All right. So that will be Sunday of this week, April Fool's Day, which is really not a national or international so-called holiday. But it's on the same day as so-called April Fool's Day. Okay? Keep going.
Okay. That is why the dates move and why Easter festivities are often referred to as movable feasts.
Right.
There's a defined period between March 25th and spring and April 25th on which Easter Sunday must fall.
That's right. Keep going.
And that's determined by the movement of the planets and the sun.
Say that one more time.
And that's determined by the movement of the planets and the sun.
And that's very strong point, because with Passover, how we know when it's the correct Passover, we go by the calendar in which the Hebrews used to go by when it came about to saying, well, this day, this is Passover. If you look through all the Passover that the I.S.U.P.K has had, it's on different days. It's because we tell by the moon. We have records to show us how to record the days and times. And so Passover is March 30th this year. A lot of times you see Passover in April or March. It should be nowhere, no damn May, nowhere, no damn June. See what I'm saying? You fake ass Israelites like to do it in February too, off some off-brand shit. You see what I'm saying? That's incorrect, okay? And it's funny that Easter and Passover is very close and near to each other. What the white man knows is that Black and Hispanic and Native American people are supposed to celebrate Passover. So they try to give you confusion in the Bible. Now, the Old Testament was in Hebrew, and the New Testament was in Greek. But with the Greek, there was mistranslations. Let me ask you, do you know the 5 mistranslations in the Bible? Do you know a couple at all?
I know
one.
I know one is obviously Easter.
Say it again.
Easter.
Right. What is Easter supposed to be?
Passover.
That's right. Okay.
If you ask me, I would say the Jesus Christ name in the scriptures. That's a mistranslation.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
I would say that, and then what else? So I'll think of right now.
Okay, I'll give it to you. So it's a thing called Christian dogma with the mistranslations in the Bible, with the Greek and the New Testament. So when you look at the word, God is supposed to be Yahweh, or the power or power. Instead of saying God, you say the power or power. All right. Resurrection. That's the second one. Resurrection is supposed to be reincarnation. The third one, Holy Ghost, is supposed to be Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And ghost is something that's not real. The reason why it says ghost in the Bible is because the Romans used to believe in ghosts. They believe when their people died, they always say terms like rest in peace. Like black people say rest in peace, rest in heaven. Those terms was because they believed that their spirit did not rest when they died. So they think of them as a ghost, and they think that their spirit roams around the earth, which that is not true. Okay? So it's supposed to be Holy Spirit, and a spirit is a vibe, a vibration, or a vibe. Like you see something. Not see something, but you sense something. It's a vibe. You see what I'm saying? Like someone can tell if someone got the spirit of the Lord on them. So that's the spirit of the Most High, which is a vibe. Someone knows when they sense something that's negative or something that's just wicked as hell about this person. See what I'm saying? It's coming out their damn pores, pretty much. If you're homosexual, it's coming out your pores. If you're a thief, it's coming out your pores, man. If you're a liar, it's coming out your damn pores. So, Holy Ghost, all right, is supposed to be Holy Spirit. So a separate vibe or a different vibe, which is a different spirit. Okay, and with the spirit on Easter, that's not the spirit that Black and Hispanics have had when the Most High brought Moses unto us. Nah, we didn't know what the hell Easter was. See what I'm saying? But we knew what Passover was. But the heathens did not know what Passover was, man, because we kept it. The Most High dealt with us, and He taught us the Passover. Okay, another one, religion. Religion is supposed to be belief or consciousness. It's not supposed to say religion at all. The next one is, I said it all. I said it all. I would consider Yahawashi to be like when it says, also Salaki, Jehovah. Yeah. Jehovah is supposed to say Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? That's supposed to say Yahweh. Let me see what else. Yahawashi should not be Jesus Christ. Should definitely be Yahawashi the Mashiach. For sure. I believe there's a couple I'm missing, but those are the main ones that we see in the Bible today. And going back on topic, when you see the word Easter in Acts, the 12th chapter, understand that it's talking about the Passover. And we're going to get into that very, very shortly, all right? So, April is the month, it's the first month to the Hebrews. See what I'm saying? But it's not the first month to the Romans or the so-called white people of America and everywhere else in the world. Understand that they rule the world, so they go by what the hell they came up with. All right? Okay? So in the Hebrew, it's considered to be month one. Okay? Keep going on that a little bit out.
Pascha, Easter, and the goddess of spring. In most countries in Europe, the name for Easter is derived from the Jewish festival of Passover.
When it says Jewish festival, understand it's talking about white people. The ish part is a suffix for kind of like. All right? If you think of the show Blackish, that term should be very self-explanatory. Blackish is kind of like black, but you're really not. Okay? Well, it's kind of like in the middle. That's how you would describe it. So these Jewish are not real Jews. Okay? Keep going.
Okay.
So I keep thinking, I forget that shit's up there. Keep going.
So in Greek, the festival is called Pascha.
Pascha or Paschua. Pascua, so like it. Pascua, which really means passive. No, there's two different translations. Yeah, you said it right. Say it one more time.
Pascha?
Yeah, Pascha. That's how you say it. Pascha or Pascua, which really means Passover. You see what I'm saying? That's their bastardized way of saying Passover. And as you see, Passover and Easter is in the same sentence. That lets you know that Easter was not meant to be celebrated amongst the Hebrews, man. Only the Romans. Go ahead.
In Italian, it's Pascha. In Danish, it is Pasaki.
Yeah, don't sweat it.
In French,
one second, Salaki. when you go into the Greek and go into the language, the Danish language, the French, the Italian, all that, understand that it's really talking about the same thing. It's talking about Passover, all right? And those are some weird ass names too. Go ahead.
And in French, it is Pasquise. Pasquise.
Come, yep. Yeah, no, you said it right. Go ahead.
Professor Cusack said, but in English-speaking countries and in Germany, Easter takes its name from a pagan goddess from Anglo-Saxon England, who was described in a book by the 18th century English.
I'm gonna just stop you right there. I want you to go to the next link because all that goes to something else.
This one?
Yeah, because that's really not the real goddess that is speaking of. I can show you the one that's really talking about. Yeah, right there.
Not this?
Yeah. We're gonna go over this again just to give you a little bit more details that were missed in the last article, okay? So just follow along and be patient, and we're gonna dive into scriptures to prove that, this is a holiday that is only for heathens, and that Christ celebrated Passover and not Easter, okay? Keep going. Yeah, very first one, right, yeah, first paragraph.
Origins of Easter, a Christian commemoration.
Right.
The origin of Easter, a holiday associated with the observance of the resurrection of Christ.
So just like Christmas, just like St. Patrick's Day, so like not St. Patrick's Day, but just like Christmas, just like Easter, these holidays are associated with Christ, so they say. But these holidays have nothing to do with Christ. They have no truth. They have no background knowledge to say and prove that Christ, kept these holidays. It's just making false accusations, making, false storylines, false holidays, just so that you can worship it. If you can throw the Most High's name, if you can throw Yahweh's name on anything, everybody will love it and go after it. All right? Keep going.
It is actually based on an ancient pagan celebration.
And people have to understand what pagan means, man. It's false. It's fake. It's not something that's real. It's all a illusion. It's something that's in your mind. It's something that's not real. I really want to call it schizophrenia. That's really what it is. Because that's the idea people got in their head. It's not real whatsoever. It's a hallucination. Okay? Goddamn. What's another word for all that? I guess I said them all. Keep going.
You tripping. That's
right. You tripping. Keep going.
Christians recognize this day as commemorating the culminating event of their faith.
Right.
But like so many other Christian holidays, Easter has become commercialized and mixed with non-Christian traditions.
There you go. If you go back to February 14th, when we talked about, Valentine's Day, the same thing about Valentine's Day, it said the same thing. Because during the Roman Empire, when the Romans were in rulership, it was talking about how it was changing up. The practice of serving and worshiping Lupercilia, the she-wolf, the customs were changing. Certain things were removed, certain things were added, and it was the same thing with St. Patrick's Day. Okay? I remember that St. Patrick's Day started off with, them worshiping the color blue. You see what I'm saying? Like they were Crips or something. So they was worshiping the color blue, and then they went back into getting green later on as the holiday was being, worshipped, because they thought it was a more appealing, popular color to, to think about the holiday. Okay? Keep going. So this is fake. This is not, so with this being said, Passover has never changed up, right? Passover has always been the same, has always been, celebrated the same from when Moses showed them how to do it in the book of Exodus, told them and presented it to them in the book of Exodus, when he got us out of Egypt, man. It wasn't no Easter. It wasn't none of that. Nothing changes about our high holy days. But there is hypocrisy in all these holidays. And why is it that every Sunday children are getting raped and molested in the name of Easter? That's something that people do not talk about. What's up with that? Ask your Christian pastor, ask your reverend, ask all your black leaders that you look up to that seems to have all the answers to black people's problems. Ask them, why do our families go through rape and molestation on Sundays in the name of Easter? Why is it that the Romans took part in that too? That's in their history. On holidays, that's how they enjoy their holidays, man. In orgies amongst men and men, little boys. You see what I'm saying? They wasn't thinking about a wife or a woman at all. They was thinking about boy pussy, Salakia. I just gotta say it. That's what they was looking forward to on that Easter Sunday. Giving them scavenger hunts, things of that sort, but then kidnapping them, grabbing them up, and taking advantage of them, taking away their innocence. Now, do I have any compassion on the white devil back then? Because they was raping their own people. No, I have no compassion, but understand that this is the same disgusting deviance that happens to black and Hispanics. And it's disgusting, and it needs to stop. And black people need to stop being such a goddamn child and keeping a child mentality of being deceived and lied about these holidays. This is not a day for us to celebrate and join. The day that we separate from these holidays is the day that we are going to get the justice that we always wanted. Like, if you think about the book of, if you think about Exodus, and you think about when we got out of Egypt, man, all it took for us was to come together in the name of the Most High, and we were Tawab. And who fell? Our enemy. Pharaoh was the one who fell, and the children of the Africans got killed in the damn beast, man, the firstborn. That's amazing, because that all came about with us coming together. Now, when we come together, it's for something that's wicked. It's for something that goes against everything that the Most High has taught us. All right? So go ahead and get that out. Keep going.
Okay.
Actually, I want you to get its pagan roots right there, second paragraph.
Its pagan roots.
Mm-hmm.
The origin of Easter dates back to ancient times, not long after the global flood recorded in Genesis chapter 6.
Right, and that was like over thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, man. All right, go ahead.
Of the Bible. Nimrod, a grandson of Noah, had turned from following his grandfather's God and had become a tyrannical ruler. Right.
So Easter also goes back into the times of Nimrod. When you speak about Christmas, when you're speaking about his mother/wife, Nimrod's mother/wife, who were Africans, Seramis, which is her name. And she was also worshipped right along with her son, who was Nimrod, the funky ass African who got killed. All right? And who died, got killed, and who was, worshipped as the evergreen tree. You see what I'm saying? With all the ornaments and with all the decorations, the angel on top of the damn tree, bringing presents and gifts to the tree. If you didn't, you would get killed and slaughtered. And who would kill you was the mother/wife of Nimrod. And that shit is very disgusting, man. How can you sleep with a kin? Someone that's family to you. And when I mean this, I mean someone that, who the hell would want to expose the nakedness of their mother? That's very disgusting. You got the demon, you got the spirit of a white man. Because a white man don't have a problem sleeping with any family member. You see what I'm saying? That's some white hillbilly shit. That's just disgusting, man. Like your mother, for real? Man, that's disgusting. And that's what Africans do. See what I'm saying? Oh, this is my sister. This is my sister. Like, I need kids and shit. Oh my goodness. These motherfucking Africans are disgusting, man. Man, you better get you a sister off the block, man. See what I'm saying? Disgusting. So this goes back all the way in the times of Nimrod when it comes to Jeremiah. When you look at Jeremiah, which we are also going to get into, the queen of heaven, which is considered to be Ishtar. Ishtar is the goddess of Easter, fertility, love, and sex. All right? And I just mentioned sex because all the rape and molestation and, unlawful sex that goes on on Easter. See what I'm saying? Look at all the rape charges, man, in the Christian church. How can you call yourself the house of God when you got over, man, how many, man? Like 40? Over 40 or more charges against the pastor. And the church is still up and running like nothing has ever happened. Because they're getting paid, man. They're getting paid to push out these lies and to, destroy the minds of black and Hispanics, okay? So let's jump off of that, all right? Damn Easter, damn whatever, holidays the white man has to offer black people, and let's separate and let's go back to what the Lord attended us for us to celebrate, which is the Passover, man. And after Passover, man, it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is even better. That's another high holy day or holy convocation where you have to afflict your spirit of yeast, man. And you got to eat the same boring shit. That's the best way I can put it. But it's good that way, man. That's how the Most High wanted us to be. That's why the Most High have these high holy days and holy convocations set up the way that they are, man. And I got to tell you, man, Passover is better than a damn Easter. I had the most greater experience. If I had to compare Passover to a damn Christmas, it's always Passover, man. Better. 10 times better, man. And there's no wickedness involved, which is 10, 20 times better. Christmas, man, you got arguments, you got fights. You got to sit at the table with pedophiles, see what I'm saying, abusers, drug addicts. You got to sit amongst those that call you family when really they are enemies and disgusting bastards. I mean, this is what goes on in the black community, man. This is what really goes on that nobody speaks about. No one speaks about the evil of these these holidays. Okay? Everybody's broke on this damn Christmas. There's a fight against who is going to pay the damn rent by the first of the month. And remind you, Christmas is December 25th. You got a couple more days before that rent is due and the landlord's knocking on your damn door. What you gonna do now? You're gonna get kicked out. You're broke, and the children never keep up with the toys, man. When it comes to Easter, man, them spoiled rotten eggs, everybody's throwing up. Everybody's sick. Everybody's leaving all that disgusting food in the refrigerator to rot. All that money you spent, you could have used that for tithes. You could have used that to, for Passover, man. You could have used that for anything else except for these holidays. All right? So let's get into the scriptures. I need you to get Acts 12 and 4. All right? Okay. No, Acts 12 and 1, actually. So we're going to get into the scriptures real quick about a little bit more about Easter. We're going to show you who Ishtar is, where the name Easter comes from.
12 and 4.
12 and 1.
Okay. Acts chapter 12, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
So stop right there. Herod was a devil, so-called white man, a so-called disgusting beast, a subtile beast of the field, that white man who I hate so much and who I really want to die and whose life I want in my hands. I'm going too far? Mm-hmm. No sweat. Let me stop right there. Keep going.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
He killed James, the brother of who?
John.
Oh, man. He killed one of those strong men. He killed one of those soldiers that was rolling with Christ, who got a book named after him, giving you the report of what he saw. And James is one hell of a book, man. And he was killed by the hands of who?
Herod
Herod, the white devil, man. That devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Keep going.
Okay. And because he saw it pleased the Jews.
Say it one more time.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews.
Keep going.
He proceeded forth to take Peter also.
So he also tried to proceed to take Peter. To take Peter means to kill. He was trying to kill Peter as well. But you have to understand something about Peter. Peter was a very smart, intelligent man. He was like right hand to Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? So he was a very smart, intelligent man next to Daniel. Daniel was a man who was straight out of the gutters, man. Straight out of the mud. Meaning he was at a low state before he came and followed after Christ. Meaning he was out of the ghetto, but he was a smart, intelligent man. Daniel also reminds me of Joseph. Joseph was also a very smart, intelligent man. Why do you think he was right hand to Pharaoh? Because Joseph had gifts, just like Daniel had gifts. All these prophets and disciples had gifts. All right? Keep going. And Peter wasn't going, long story short. The best way I can say it is Peter wasn't going for none of that. See what I'm saying? He wasn't nowhere in Herod's reach to be killed. Keep going.
Okay. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison.
Say that one more time.
And when he apprehended him, he put him in prison.
When he apprehended him, apprehended means to like to rest. Like you arrest somebody, you bounded them, you got him. All right. So when Peter was captured and thrown into prison, keep going.
And delivered him to 4 coordinations.
Cornings.
What was that?
Cornings.
Coordinations.
Right, not nations. Keep going. Of soldiers.
Of soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
To keep him.
So he was watched pretty much. He had people who was watching him, and he pretty much had no escape. Keep going.
Intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
Now there goes the Christian dogma, which is Easter. It's supposed to be Pesach, which is Hebrew for Passover. And also, I'm glad we're speaking about this because back then, in the era, with the Shemitic people. Shemitic people are Black, Hispanic, Native American people. And the white man, in his records, he classifies the Hebrew language to be Aramaic. Aramaic being where Black and Hispanics were, but you got to understand that, in the time where we were living, there was different languages. Everybody had their own different type of language. You see what I'm saying? The white man had his language, the Hebrews had their language, the Africans had their language. But Hebrew is a Israelite culture, man. It's a language that the Most High gave to us, where it comes from Adam. Okay? Now, with that being said, it's I-bar. I-bar is Hebrew. It's the Hebrew word for Hebrew, if that makes sense, okay? I-bar. All right, keep going.
Okay. Peter, therefore, was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto God.
Actually, I'm going to stop right there. I just want to pull that scripture, Acts 12:4, just to give you the idea of where it says Easter at in the Bible. But with that, you have to understand that Passover has nothing to do with Easter, man. All right? And if you go into the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, when you look at Ishtar, which we are going to get to in a second, it's going to tell you that this is not about Easter. And if you look at Passover also in the Zondervan's, it's going to show you that the Romans or the Catholic Church decided to mix the two in together, so they can keep their culture. The white man can keep his culture and into the Bible and try to mistranslate it to misguide us. Okay, so y'all, I need you to get Deuteronomy 11:6. Deuteronomy 11:6 is going to explain the evil of the holidays that we lust after. We decide to, throw everything away that we have learned in our culture and trade it up for somebody else's culture. All right, go ahead.
Kind of. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 6. And what he did unto...
Where you at? It should be
Dathan?
It should be Deuteronomy 11:6.
Yeah.
Read that one more time.
And what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up.
Oh, wait, still like. Give me 1 second. Still like, I think that's the wrong scripture. Let me see. Was that Deuteronomy 11 and what?
6.
11:6? Okay, give me 1 second. I think that's actually wrong. In the meantime, just go ahead and get Jeremiah 7 and 18. Still like you for that, Akimakwa. Alright, yep, so it should be, yep. Jeremiah 7 and 18 is where it's supposed to be at.
7 and 18?
7 and 18, yep, that should be it.
Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
The children gathered wood, and the fathers kindled the fire.
Say that one more time.
Children gathered wood, and the fathers kindled the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the women kneaded their dough.
Right, they needed their dough. Not needed, but they they needed their dough. Keep going.
To make cakes to the Queen of Heaven.
Right, so in the time of Jeremiah, when we was in the Babylonian captivity, even back then, they was worshiping the Queen of Heaven. The Queen of Heaven is so-called Ishtar, the fertility goddess, okay? And they made gifts, they made offerings, they made sacrifices to the Queen of Heaven. And Jeremiah is speaking about it in this day and times. But let's keep going to see why this is really important.
And to pour out drink offerings unto their gods, unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
So they may provoke me to anger. It's talking about the Most High being provoked to anger. Because realize that in that day and time of them making, feasts, making food, pouring out drink offerings out to this God, it's the same thing today. If you look at men today, if you look at the women, they're going out to buy the Easter bunnies, which came later into Easter custom. They went out to go boil, grab eggs, to color the eggs, have the children participate into, this wickedness of a holiday. So they're still making offerings, they're still celebrating and giving thanks to the Queen of Heaven, which is Ishtar. Okay? Now let's get Ishtar, but before we do that, I want you to get Deuteronomy 11 and 16. I thought it was 6. It's 11 and 16. Okay. All right. 1 second. You got it? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 16. Take heed to yourselves.
Take what?
Take heed to yourselves.
Take heed to yourselves.
That your heart be not deceived.
Mm-hmm.
And you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them.
Now, we were reminded in the Bible that we should really take heed to ourselves, meaning we should watch ourselves, because what's going to happen is that, our flesh is going to start getting tingly. Our senses are going to start jumping up and down, and we are going to do wickedness. We are going to follow after something that is not our God. And in the process of that, it's going to get us killed. It's going to get us to be cursed. It's going to get us to be, a nation that is not, under the roof of the Most High anymore. All right? Read that one more time from the top out.
Come. Take heed to yourself.
Take what?
Take heed to yourself.
You better take heed to yourself, man. You better watch yourself. You better watch what the hell you do and what you say. Keep going.
That your heart be not deceived.
That your heart may not be deceived. Your heart is your mind. Don't be deceived in your mind. Don't be deceived in your heart. Don't be gullible. And what people are, what black and Hispanics are in America, are gullible. If any white man or if anybody can tell you a good enough story, a lie, about why we should be doing this and why we should be doing that, you would be sold for it. And you would go for it. You would run with it. Someone tells you that, it's so damn crazy these days because it's like, someone tells you that, yeah, Easter is about Christ. Oh, no sweat. Hallelujah. It's about Christ for real. Nobody asks questions. Nobody examines, this holiday. Nobody questions the murder rates, man. Nobody questions the wickedness and horror stories that goes on when it comes to Easter. But this is of Christ. This is of Jesus. He wanted this, right? Hallelujah. That's all they say. They sing and dance. They play with damn eggs, and they say it's the part of new life, new beginning, and that's not true. Our beginning is Passover. I'm telling you, man, Christ did not celebrate a goddamn Easter, man. And it's so deep that Jeremiah is speaking about it. That Christ is also going to speak about it amongst his disciples, about these type of days. Okay? And the Most High despises days like this because it does not concern him. He's a jealous God, you're damn right. And he's going to kill and murder all of you behind it because you forgot about the high holy days that he set up for you and only you. All right? Keep going on that.
Come. And you turn aside and serve other gods.
And we turned aside and served other gods. If you read the book of Deuteronomy, man, Moses is giving us instructions on what not to do and what to do. Tell me in the Bible where we should celebrate Easter. Tell me where any Hebrew celebrated this day. Show me that you're more Christ-like if you celebrate this day. And also in America, Passover is actually considered in the world. But they pervert it just like they perverted with Purim. Purim is also so-called in America too. But it's way different than what you find out what it really is in the Bible. And they have used our days as a mockery, man. To play around with it, to disrespect our God, disrespect black people as a culture. And we are so blind to what's going on that we don't understand that Purim, Day of Atonement, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover, all these days, are our days. The times and days that the Most High has gave to us as a nation. All right? And we got to get our shit in order, man. Otherwise, we will continue to be killed on the streets. See what I'm saying? The white man want to distract you with holidays, but then again, he's killing you. He's trying to put you in fear so you can submit and serve him. That's the process that's the process that has always worked. Even when you go back to the slave patrols, the times of the 1800s, where we were being enslaved and beaten. The best way to have a slave submit to you is you put them in fear. How you put them in fear? You keep killing them. They keep coming closer to you and showing you love. I mean, have you ever noticed that? As the white man continues to kill us, what happens? We forgive him more.
Right.
We show more love to him. When you think about Dylan Roof, who celebrates Easter too. When you think about him, and he shot up the 9 people in the church, man, that family decided to forgive him. But what about Stephen Clark out there in California, man. He got 20 shots inside of him. 2 cops decided to have some fun with him and put 10 bullets each inside of that man. And that's not an injustice. And that should give you more reason why we should not be affiliated with America, man. We shouldn't. Everything that has happened to us as a nation, we should finally start thinking, and we should finally be the ones to start just examining everything that we do as a people. And separation is the best thing that has happened to Black and Hispanics. Now look, Black and Hispanics did better when we were in the Jim Crow laws, right? As far as segregation, we did better as a nation. See what I'm saying? You keep your ass over there, and we keep our ass over here. That's how the white man had it. You have a white drinking fountain, you got a black one, colored drinking fountain. You have your restaurants, we have our restaurants. We did better, but we wanted freedom. We wanted to be a part of their culture, of their love. We wanted to be in the arms of white people. Why? Because we love them as a nation. And that's disgusting, man. The Most High is pissed off, yo. Like I don't think Black people understand, man. The Most High kills you, and you hate him more for it. When he's trying to discipline you and chastise you to get you back to him. Because somewhere in the scriptures, the Most High says that, I won't be a nation. You won't be my sons and daughters if you reject my knowledge. All right? So let's get back to it. Actually, I think that's 2 Corinthians 11:4. But I want you to grab that. Let me get Ishtar. Let me read you who Ishtar is according to the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, all right? Ishtar, the name and cult of the goddess were derived from Babylonia, where she was the goddess of love and war, also sex as well. The chief seat of her worship in Babylon was Erech, where prostitution was practiced in her name. You heard that out? Where prostitution was practiced in her name by bands of men and women. In Assyria, the warlike side of the goddess was stressed, and immoral rites were not a part of her worship. So, it was a woman goddess, and this woman goddess was worshipped as the fertility goddess of love and war. She was considered to be the queen of heaven that is spoken of in Jeremiah 7:18. And this is in the name of what? Easter. A disgusting ass holiday. We're not supposed to be worshiping a goddamn woman. We're supposed to be worshiping a masculine spirit who is the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, man. That's who we are supposed to worship. That's the only real God on the face of the earth. Everybody else is false and fake. Not real, part of your imagination. You have a childlike mind to continue to celebrate these holidays. You know what I heard a brother in the truth said about people who celebrate holidays? What? If you celebrate holidays, you are a homosexual. And that shit kind of like, I thought about it. I was like, well, yeah, that's right. I had to get that brother ahead because I was like, that brother's just not saying that just to say it. There is a feminine spirit on people who celebrate holidays like Easter. Look at the men, for example. Feminine, emasculated. See what I'm saying? No spirit of masculinity whatsoever. Got pink, purple I.U.I.C. edition outfits for Easter? Damn. Damn. Motherfuckers is gay out here. Salakia. Excuse my language. Pure faggots out here. Flaming homosexuals. I almost said flaming hot Cheeto homosexuals. Flaming homosexuals, man. Let me read this one more time, though. Okay, Salakia. This name, this woman, derives out of Babylonian culture. If you look at the Roman culture, if you look at the Egyptian culture, Babylonian culture, in American culture, it's all the same. They've always kept the same gods. They may have changed the names up a little bit, but they have always served and worshiped the same exact gods. And since these heathens have been over, more control on top of us as a nation, we serve and follow them. When you think about the East Indians, we took after their customs and traditions after we were told not to. What happened? We decided to be unclean for 7 years, not wash our bodies, not groom our hair, let it be matted and untouched. We started to smoke weed. We started to get high. Egyptians were doing cocaine. Man, Commander GEN.YAHANNA brought that out 2 Passovers ago, man. How they were doing drugs. See what I'm saying? And that was a badass lecture, man. Commander GEN.YAHANNA did a badass lecture at the Passover. It's like a 30-minute, like a quick 30-minute lecture, but it was so much information. How Hebrews were inside of Egypt, man. Inside, being oppressed by the Egyptians. And how they were getting high off of cocaine. And some simpleton will tell you that there was no such thing as drugs back then, not even wine. Well, tell me about all the scripture that talks about wine. And it is a commandment that we got to drink it at the Passover. You see what I'm saying? So tell me, how is that false? Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. People was destroyed out here. But go ahead and get that out. 2 Corinthians
11:4.
Let me just make sure that's correct. Yep. 2 Corinthians 11:4. The water.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him.
So what Paul is saying is that, okay, Paul is talking to the brothers in the city of Corinth, all right? As you may know, it's Corinthians. But the city of Corinth, Paul is speaking out to the brothers, letting them know that do not be deceived. Do not be gullible. Do not be, guiled. Guile, which means another word for being deceived or deceiver. Do not be fooled when someone comes and teach you a new doctrine. Teach you a new word, which is gospel. Don't teach, someone who teaches you a new leader as far as Christ. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up serving whatever they're serving. And the Sadducees and Pharisees, they encouraged sin. They wanted to be the ones to serve other gods and be justified in it. That's why they used to always battle with Christ. Battle with the disciples, but always get cut and confounded. You see what I'm saying? After a while, they stopped talking to Christ because they were losing every battle, every conversation. See what I'm saying? So, get Mark 7:6.
Okay.
We got to understand that Easter has distracted us from what's the real holiday, what's the real focus. And March 30th, the 49th annual Passover is the main focus, man. And I'm telling you, Satan is working out here in the streets, man. But we have to do our job better. For all the brothers and sisters that are on their way to the Passover, man, let's give them a hand first of all. All the brothers and sisters that are on their way to the Passover, man, may the Lord be with you on this road and journey. And I pray and hope that you have a good time, man.
That's right. It's
impossible if you don't have a great ass time in there, man. That's amazing, man. One thing about Passover, I just hate when it's over, man. I hear a brother, they be like, I hear somebody yell in the crowd, it's time to wrap everything up. I'm like, fuck, shit. So I'm like, damn, I just want to stay longer, man. Like, can I sleep here? Like, can we sleep here? You know what I mean? Like, man, Passover is just that place to be, man.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? You gotta wait. It's only one time of the year, man. Nobody can top Passover, man. Christmas, what the hell is Christmas? What the hell is Easter, man?
I ain't never heard of it.
I've never heard of it, man.
I don't know what that is.
Ever since I've been in the truth, I don't know what the hell it is. You see what I'm saying? I can't even remember the last time I celebrated a goddamn Easter. You see what I'm saying? I just see it like another day. Someone just had to tell me that Easter was the first month, the first day of April. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But what about Passover? You ever heard of that? Nah. Well, let me tell you about it. Let me tell you how Passover is just that day to know about. Let me boast about it a little bit.
Right.
Let me show you. Let me hurt your feelings concerning those Africans that you love so much. Let me speak about that, man. Maybe you might want to change your mind when you hear more about Passover versus any other holiday, man. You know, Passover is one of those days that shits on every holiday that the white man has to offer, man. We make so much noise with that day. That's the day that we give thanks to the Most High because of what He did. He delivered us out of captivity. He is the only one that was able to deliver us out of our oppression, man. Thanks to Moses, thanks to Aaron, thanks to those mighty men who had courage and strength, and the Most High to back them up to help us get out of there, man. And it was brotherhood that helped us. Because remind you, we were still sinning at that time. But because we followed orders, we got out safely. We kept the Passover. All right? Go ahead and get that out.
Was it Mark 6 and... what?
Mark 7 and 6.
7 and 6.
Mm-hmm. After this, we're going to transition and show you how Christ kept the Passover and how His parents did as well. A lot of people don't know that Christ had parents, a real family, a real household, a father, to be exact. Keep going.
Come. Mark chapter 7, verse 6. He answered and said unto them, well hath Esdras?
Esaias, which is Isaiah.
Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites.
Right.
As it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me.
Say that one more time.
This people honoreth me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me.
So the most, so like Christ is saying that people out there who say that they love God, they honor them. I mean, we honor Him with our lips, but our action says otherwise. We love God. Easter is about God. It's about the resurrection of Christ. It's about the new beginning. It's springtime, and yeah, all that's gay, man. All that's not true, man. What about your actions? And I never understood this, but anytime I talk to a Christian, and I always ask them, like, well, I hear what you're saying. I hear you. But where is that in the Bible? They be like, oh, it's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there. Damn, if you follow Christ, you should know this Bible.
Right.
Like you know anything. See what I'm saying? Like how black people say that we know our children or know somebody like the back of our hand. You should know the Bible the same way.
That's right.
That's why the scripture says to study night and day and meditate these scriptures, man. Like, you got to meditate in these scriptures to know what the hell you're talking about. People just get up there and talk for hours and hours like a damn Christian and don't know what they're speaking about. Everybody's like, yeah, I hear you. That's so delicious in my mind and my mouth. Like, I just be like, y'all Christians fucking disgusting. You know what I'm saying? This, oh my goodness, wow, hallelujah. Like, that shit is ridiculous. I just be like, for real? I'm like, wow. I'm like, so where's that in the Bible? Nobody asks questions these days. I got all the questions to ask. And I got all the answers to confound you, man. There ain't no goddamn Easter in the Bible. Get that shit out of our face, man. It's lucky. Go ahead and read that from the top. Hallelujah. Go ahead.
Mark chapter 7, verse 6.
Right.
He answered and said unto them, well hath Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites.
So Yahushua is speaking amongst the Sadducees and Pharisees, those religious leaders in modern day in society, which is the so-called Christians, your black leaders, those who have a so-called voice in the black community, Hispanic community, the Native Indian community. but who try to keep us away from the law, keep us in sin. Okay? You still have to up. Keep going.
As it is written.
As it is written.
This people honoreth me with their lips.
They honor me with their lips.
But their heart is far from me.
Their heart is far from me. Their mind is somewhere else. It's not with the law, which Yahushua taught, which Yahushua promoted. He promoted life, and life is the law. Death is Easter. See what I'm saying? Death is Christmas. Death is Thanksgiving, Halloween. Those are the days of death. But the Passover is life. So these people are hypocrites, man. You say you want to be Christ-like. You say you follow me. You say you believe in the Most High, but you serve and follow the things that are not of the Most High. So we know it's satanic. So we know you are not a follower of the Most High or, of the law. So we know that somebody's lying. Is the Most High lying or you lying? Nigga, it's you. It's you. Just say that you want to be a lustful, disgusting ass bastard and that you do not want to follow what the Most High is required us to teach, required us to keep. See what I mean? Keep going.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me.
Say that one more time.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me. Keep going.
Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
So they teach the doctrines and commandments of men, meaning this. Easter, pagan. Pagan, you can't find any paganism in the Bible because these are real holidays. Go ahead.
Like doctrines of men, commandments of men, talk about it's a sin to use up too much water.
Yeah, come on, man. I heard that. Yeah, that was retarded. I definitely remember that. That's funny. So doctrines of men, so meaning these philosophies and doctrines were created by men, so they can be worshipped. By women, so they can be worshipped. See what I'm saying? Ishtar. Ishtar is not in the damn Bible. Nobody in the Bible as a woman is worshipped. See what I'm saying? She might be praised or glorified, meaning she's given a compliment. Meaning she is honored in a way of, just honored. See what I'm saying? Honored in a glorified way, but not worship. See what I'm saying? We don't worship women, man.
That's right.
And a lot of these holidays go back to women worship, which is disgusting.
That's right.
You are less of a man if you decide to bow down to anything or anybody that is not the Most High. You are a homosexual at spirit, at mind. See what I'm saying? How dare you disrespect the Most High and call yourself a man of God? And people always say, oh, well, that scripture doesn't mean that. That scripture doesn't mean that. All right, no sweat. We're going to give you more scriptures, man, to show you what is real and what is not real, according to the Bible, according to history and America's tradition, or whatever the case may be. Okay? Keep going on that.
Okay. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men.
We hold the tradition of men. Keep going.
As the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things you do. So what that is talking about is that we decide to keep the tradition of men because we are more comfortable. We've been taught it, but we never decided to break the chains, break the slave mentality of these holidays that have nothing to do with black people. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Damn near every topic. These holidays have nothing to do with niggas. Ask yourself, why do we die on these holidays? Should I celebrate it? It should scare the hell out of you by now. Right.
You got to get your mind in the place of these white people keep killing my people. Why should I spend $1 in the stores? I hear black people say that, yeah, no sweat. But go even deeper. Go way deeper. I won't spend any money on Christmas, on the 4th of July. I won't spend my money or dollars. I won't shed any attention, any light on what these people got going on. Because when you start joining hand in hand, like Proverbs 11:21 says, when you start to join hand in hand with the wicked, man, you got to understand something. You are forgetting about your slavery, your oppression, your problems. You are forgetting about your slavery, your oppressions, and your problems. See what I'm saying? But you are not thinking about your people. You are letting them down. You're letting yourself down. All that shit ties into self-hatred as well. See what I'm saying? Go ahead and now we're going to transition to something else. Luke 2:4 is what I need you to grab, okay?
Come.
And that was the whole verse 7, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, come. So Luke 2:4, we're going to show you how Christ celebrated the Passover, man. And as we read through the scriptures, man, show me Easter anywhere. I don't like the sound, the way it sounds either. Like, that shit sounds retarded.
Easter?
Easter. Yeah. Go ahead.
Come. Luke chapter 2, verse 4. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth.
So Joseph being the father, being, the man who the father of Yahushua, the man who decided to lay down with Mary and have this wonderful, amazing son, as you may know as Yahushua the Mashiach. All right, keep going.
Unto Judea,
right?
Unto the city of David,
right?
Which is called Bethlehem.
So the city that Joseph was in was the same city of David, King David to be exact. Keep going.
Because he was of the house of lineage of David.
You're damn right. So the same blood in our veins of Black and Hispanic Native American people, it was the same blood flowing through Christ, flowing through Joseph, flowing through King David, King Solomon, James, John, Mark, Luke, Matthew, Paul, Peter, Daniel, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Obadiah, man, a lot of these brothers, man. The point is, this is niggas that it's talking about.
That's
right? Keep going.
To be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife.
To be, hold on, read that one more time.
To be taxed with Mary,
okay,
his espoused wife.
So in this day and time, which was springtime, okay, so-called springtime. So where the new year started, which was so-called April, as you may know as today. Around that time, around that season is where the earth was being taxed. It's the same thing today in America. Around the springtime, we are taxed. Okay? So they were on a journey, on animals, donkeys, camels, whatever they can get on to travel to the Passover. They were on their way there. Okay? Keep going on that.
Being great with child.
Being great with child. And who was inside the womb? Yahushua, man. Keep going.
And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered.
Her days were almost accomplished to where that she should deliver this baby, man. This baby who was going to be a great man in the earth to do amazing and wonderful things. Is that verse 5?
That was verse 6.
Verse 6? Okay. Now, what I need you to do, I need you to drop down to verse 41. We're going to fast forward right now, okay? And when we fast forward, understand that time has passed, right? And let's see the young Yahushua, man. This young man with great wisdom and understanding. Let's see what he is all about during the journey of Passover.
Luke chapter 2, verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
Just like today. Please read that one more time, right? Please.
And now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
And since Yahushua was born, he came with his parents every year to the Passover. And understand this, when you think about New York, when you're going to New York for the Passover, everybody's cars is neck to neck, body to body. You see what I'm saying? Just bumper to bumper. And what happens is, it was the same thing back then. It was a donkey to a donkey. You see what I'm saying? Traveling to the Passover, traveling to Jerusalem. Now today in New York, it's the same way. There's nothing but traffic. It takes hours and hours to get to the Passover, man. Everybody is trying to play Need for Speed on the road to get to the Passover, get on time. You see what I'm saying? And it's so funny how these scriptures, man, really comes to life when you think about it. Because the same way it talks about Passover, it's the same way Passover happens today. You see what I'm saying? With the last minute garments. See what I'm saying? The last minute preparing everything. Getting there a little bit, maybe a little too early or a little bit too late. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just a whole group of niggas together. Which was right here too. And when you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 18th chapter, you will see as well, like, it was the same way where, we was all in one group, in one place. And when we was in one group, in one place, man, we celebrated the Lord's day, man. We gave him thanks. And understand that the Most High was pleased that day. No conversation came up about Easter. Right? Ain't that right? Pastor, we ain't talking about Easter, man. We ain't eating no goddamn deviled eggs. We're not eating your expired, eggs, man. We're eating lamb, unleavened bread, man. We're drinking wine. Manischewitz. Man, Manischewitz, man, that's some strong wine, man. Make sure you keep the kids away, too. With the Manischewitz wine, man, you better be careful. That's some strong wine. And that's tradition, man. That's what the law says that we have to do. This is how we celebrate the Bible. So this is how we celebrate the Passover. Okay? Keep going.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast.
So afterwards, after they got done celebrating the Passover, what happened?
And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem.
He tarried behind. Tarried means he stayed behind. No man or child left behind. No, it's like he stayed behind. And let's see why he stayed behind.
And Joseph and his mother knew not of it.
Joseph and Mary knew not of it, meaning they didn't know that Yahushua, stayed back. They thought that, he was right next to them. So they lost their child pretty much. Keep going.
But they, supposing, is that the right? Supposing?
Yeah, you're right.
Supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinfolk and acquaintances. Acquaintance.
Right. So what that is saying is that they thought that Yahushua was in a company of those that was leaving out of Passover, going back to where they came from, going back home, right? But that wasn't what the case was. So they sought out, they looked for Yahushua with their kinfolks amongst their people, and they cannot find him. So they went 3 days on a 3-day journey to find Yahushua. And it's going to tell us about what happened when they found Yahushua. Keep going.
And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem seeking him.
They turned back to Jerusalem and sought out to find Yahushua, man, the child who was lost, man. Keep going.
And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions.
So what happened was when they found Yahushua, they found a 12-year-old young man who was what? Who did what now?
Sitting in the midst of doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions.
He was sitting amongst the people that were teachers, man, scholars. He was sitting amongst the people trying to learn. Like, for example, Today in the I.S.U.P.K, we sit in the classes that you see in Philly, that you see in New York, that you see in Minnesota. He was sitting there asking questions, being a great student, 12 years old, man, with a zeal on him like no other. A young man who was seeking out wisdom and understanding. You see what I'm saying? Keep going.
And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers.
All that heard him was astonished, like they were surprised and amazed at this young man with the questions and answers that that he gave that day. Keep going.
And when they saw him, they were amazed.
They were amazed. His parents were amazed. They was like, "Is this the same Yahushua that we know, our son?" Keep going.
And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us?
How come you did not stay with us? You see what I'm saying? Mary, she's all, all emotional. She's all, worried and stressed out. How come you did not stick around with us? What the hell was you doing? What the hell was you thinking? Keep going.
Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing.
So they were crying all these days, man. These 3 days looking for their child. They finally found him and they asked him these questions. Why did you not let nobody know? Why did you stay behind without telling anybody? We were looking everywhere for you. Keep going.
And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?
Read that one more time.
How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?
Now, Christ said something that was very heavy because he said that he was about his father's business. And what is that business? As you read later on his history, on his biography in the scriptures, what you find out is that Christ, his business was carrying out the word of the Most High. That was his business. It concerned him and his people. That's why he was here. And the whole point of this is this. Christ celebrated Passover. If you don't believe me, Mark 14 goes to show the Last Supper. The Last Supper was the Passover. It was the Last Supper that he had with his disciples before he died, man. What better way to serve, what better way to be around niggas when you know that you are finna go very soon? And the best way to enter out of this life is to what? Celebrate Passover with your family, with your kinfolk. That's amazing, man. That is absolutely amazing. A great story to really think about in these days and times. And we're going to touch on that. Get Exodus 11 and 4 for me, out.
Okay.
Now, let's show you where Passover is also at in the Bible. Because Moses told us about it. Moses is the one to thanks for helping us out and getting us out of that captivity, man. Exodus 4.
11:4.
Shalakia. Yeah, 11 to 4, that's right.
Okay. Exodus chapter 11, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, About midnight will I go out unto the midst of Egypt.
Say that one more time.
Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, About midnight will I go out unto the midst of Egypt.
Keep going. Into the midst of Egypt. Keep going. Same thing.
And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die.
And the firstborn of what?
And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die.
So these heathens shall die. The beast shall die. The first child of every African shall die. Keep going.
From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne.
So we're speaking about the Africans because Pharaoh was an African. Keep going.
Even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill.
Keep going.
And all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt.
There shall be a great cry amongst the nation or amongst the people of Egypt. And that great cry was sorrow. they dreaded the day of seeing their children being killed by a so-called death angel. I forget which archangel is responsible of when it comes to death. I forget which one it is, but that angel did his work, fantastically, man. That angel did something amazing. And thanks be to the Most High who allowed it to happen. And no Israelites that day were hurt in the process. See what I'm saying? These heathens got what they deserved. And when they got killed, Pharaoh said, man, go. Just get the hell out. Leave. And we left. We left untouched and hurt. See what I'm saying? Keep going. Is that verse 7? All the way to verse 7? Keep going.
Such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore.
There was nothing in history that happened, this situation that happened in history, there was nothing like it. It never happened. This was the first time and the only time. Keep going.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
A dog shall not move his tongue. Keep going.
Against men or beasts.
Against men or beasts, meaning these people, the children of Israel, shall not be touched, shall not be harmed after this magnificent miracle has happened for our sake. Keep going.
That ye may know how that the Lord do put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
There you go. Put this in, we are not African scriptures. Breakdown. Put this in, Africans are funky and disgusting and not the children of Israel.
That's right.
Put this in, the Egyptians are nothing like the Negroes. I hope you get the point by now. There was a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Now, this is time for your research. This is time for all your training that you Egyptologists decide to, your Kemet, faggots decide to, try to confound the Bible. Israelites are not Egyptians. We are different we are different. And even when you think about the woman in the book of Exodus with the maid servants, it even tells you that there's a difference between the Hebrew woman and the Egyptian. See what I'm saying? We are the ones that got saved that day, man. We are the ones that we are the ones that the Most High delivered out of that captivity. I hate when it does that. Just keep going. Actually, let me speed you up a little bit. Go to chapter 12, verse 6.
Okay.
All right.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall keep it until the 14th, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
So the Most High, so what happened is Moses is showing us that we are supposed to keep the Passover. All right, but now the times have changed to where the time period is a little bit different, but Passover is always in the springtime. Okay, keep going.
And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Keep going.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door post of the house.
So there was instructions and directions on how to start off the Passover. And the first order was you have to make sure that you put the blood of the lamb on your door, on the upper part of your door. So when a death angel comes by, you are not the ones to be killed. Your family, your child is not to be killed, the firstborn. But the whole setup of this, right, that I love about it is that the Africans didn't know shit about this. And that's why it was so great, man. It was like a hit and run. All right, keep going.
Okay. Wherein they shall eat it.
They shall do what?
Eat it.
You shall also eat that lamb, man. But there's also directions on how to eat it. Keep going.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night.
Read that one more time.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night. Roast with fire.
Roast with what?
With fire.
Roast with fire. Keep going.
And unleavened bread.
Read it one more time for the people that just Facebook that just got cut off.
From verse 7 or?
Yeah, all the way to the top. All the way to the top.
Or should we start at verse 6?
Verse 6?
Or verse 4?
No, I just want to get verse 6.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 6. And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to kill the lamb, and you're supposed to put it on the upper part of your door. Okay? The lamb, the blood of the lamb, all right? And you're supposed to cook the lamb as well. You're not supposed to eat it all raw, or no weird, disgusting white shit like that. Keep going.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts.
Yep.
And on the upper door post of the houses.
Right, that's right. Keep going.
Wherein they shall eat. And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread.
And that's what we do at the Passover. At the Passover, we follow these exact directions. We cook it. We eat its flesh. We roast it with fire. We don't eat it raw. No, we don't do that. And we don't get regular bread, your Wonder bread. You see what I'm saying? Your honey crisp bread. No, we get unleavened bread, all right? That we make ourselves, okay? We don't get fried bread, none of that. Keep going.
And with bitter herbs shall they eat.
With bitter herbs, man, seasoning, man, flavor. All right, keep going.
Eat not of it raw.
Eat not of it raw. That's a commandment. Eat not of it raw. Do not do it. Go ahead.
So basically, salad's off the table then. You gotta cook it.
Salad?
No, I'm saying salad's raw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No. It's just talking about
like herbs.
Yeah, herbs. Yeah,
herbs.
Yeah. No, I'm select. It's talking about the food.
Yeah.
The food, you can't eat it raw. That's what it's talking about.
Okay.
The salads? No, we don't have salads on that. Go ahead.
Nor sodden at all with water.
Keep going.
But roast with fire.
You're supposed to cook the lamb with fire. Every food that you, as far as meat, cook with fire. Never eat that shit raw, man. We are not white people. I just want to say that.
Or boil.
Boil or broil. No, not broil. That's still cooking with fire, but boil. We don't boil our chicken like you boil your chicken for a dog. See what I'm saying? Nah, none of that. We like flavor, man. We like to taste the flesh of a animal, man. All right? For all you vegans out there, man, y'all might just be offended. But who cares, man? It's a lamb, man. Lamb is delicious. I ain't talking about your gyro meat from the corner store. I'm talking about real lamb, man, that you slaughter.
So like that lamb meat you get at your corner store, that's not lamb, that's beef.
That's beef.
You
damn
can
right.
Ask them.
Damn right.
If they real, they gonna tell you it's beef.
Yeah.
That's not real lamb.
And they always tell you it's either beef or it's mixed with a little bit of lamb.
Right.
And still it's like overall it's still beef. It's just.
So like that real lamb, that's fire. Like that's the best meat I ever tasted.
Yeah, that's just better than beef itself. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I gotta say it though. It's better than jerk chicken, and I love jerk chicken. I love jerk chicken.
Way better than jerk chicken.
Way better than jerk chicken, man. Lamb, man. I think it's the generals that cook it, and I just can't wait for Friday, man, because that's the first thing I want to eat. I'm gonna starve myself that Friday. I ain't gonna eat nothing, and Lord willing, I can be greedy enough to get one more plate, man, because that's how good the shit is, man.
Right.
Passover's food is delicious, man. Whoever is throwing down in the kitchen, which is GEN.YAHANNA and also Ariar, who's helping out this year. I think there's other brothers too. whoever is responsible for the deliciousness of of that food, man, throughout it to you, man.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it this Friday, man. I'm looking forward this Friday, man. I want that. Can't wait for that lamb, man. Can't wait to have a drink with all the I.S.U.P.K and I.S.U.P.K to remember what this day is really about, man.
Right.
And this is the peace of heaven that we get for all the hell that we go through as a nation, man. This is an amazing time of the year. All right. Skip that real quick, Salakia. Get Ezra 6 and 19, then we're gonna close out. Okay. Ezra. That's in the Old Testament, I believe. Ezra 6 and 19. Ezra and Esdras is the same person, by the way. If you didn't know. You knew that, right? Yeah. Ezra and Esdras is the same person. You know that? Oh, okay, most of my person, now you do. All right? Now you know. Don't say I never taught you nothing. No. But Passover, March 30th, 49th annual Passover. Man, next year's going to get bigger. It's going to be better. It's going to be more exciting. And we are going to boast about this day every single year. 6 and 19. Right? Yeah, Ezra 6 and 19. In the Passover, man, the brothers and sisters, man, they just be packed, man. You know, shoulder to shoulder at the Passover. And it's going to be nice and glorious. And it's going to be a day to remember. It's going to be videos. It's going to be lives. It's going to be pictures. It's going, man, Facebook is going to have to delete everybody's pages, man. We're going to fill it up with the real Passover.
That's right.
If you think you saw a Passover at any fake Israelite group, you're wrong. The real Passover is in the I.S.U.P.K, man.
That's right.
All right? Go ahead and get Ezra 6 and 19 for me.
Come. Ezra chapter 6, verse 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover.
Say that one more time.
And the children of the captivity kept the Passover.
This is what we taught earlier today. The children of captivity. Who is that? The children of Israel. Are white people in captivity? Are the Jewish in captivity? No. The Jews are in captivity. Captivity. Salaki, keep going.
Upon the 14th day of the first month.
It's speaking about Passover. Keep going.
For the priests and the Levites were purified together.
The Levites, the nation of Israel, were purified together. One day, we came together for the Most High's sake, and we celebrated this wonderful, amazing day, man. Keep going.
All of them were pure and killed the Passover.
And killed the Passover, man. We was rocking that thing out, man. We killed the Passover. Keep going.
For all the children of the captivity.
All the children of the captivity. Keep going.
And for their brethren, the priests.
For the brethren and their priests. Keep going.
And for themselves. And the children of Israel, which were come again out of captivity.
Come again out of captivity. So overall, for traditions, for cultures, I mean, not cultures, but for generations onto another generation, we've kept the Passover. But there's a day and time where Black and Hispanic and Native American people do not know the truth of the Bible, do not know who the Most High is, so they celebrate these other gods. They are the ones that has been deceived. They are the ones that have been fooled, beguiled. The ones that have been misled. Now, with the I.S.U.P.K, with the truth of the Lord being back into the earth, we have to show our people what is right and what is wrong. The Passover is 100% correct. Easter is false, disgusting, and a homosexual holiday. Man, do your research, man. You better learn something. Damn the white man and damn his holidays. Separate or die. Separate or die. Because that's what's going to happen to you if you continue to keep these holidays, man. But the Passover, while you over there celebrating Easter, I'm going to celebrate the Passover, the holiday that Christ celebrated, man. And I'm going to remember this day. My life will not be taken from me because I'm celebrating this day, man. I know that the Most High is with me because I'm celebrating this day. Because it has something to do with Him. It has everything to do with Him and my nation. The nation of Israel, man. For all my Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters out there, man. This has something to do with you and only you. Leave the white man, leave the heathens at the door. Leave all of them at the door. They are not allowed to the Passover. I don't give a damn if it's your wife, your husband, your child. They can be in a doghouse for all I care. But at the Passover, only Hebrews allowed. No heathen policy whatsoever. No tolerance. Niggas and more niggas, man. In a place where there's no wickedness, only righteousness, man. The children get to have fun. Get to see each other. You know what I mean? Brothers and sisters get to see each other from state to state, even a different part of the country, man. There's brothers and sisters coming from Trinidad, Puerto Rico, the UK. That's amazing, man. And there's so much righteousness, man. I can't stress that enough. So much culture in the air, man. So much love in the air, man. That's the Passover, man. So March 30th, sundown, get there early as possible. Sundown is around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Get there at 5 to 5:30, and let's have a good time, Israel. All right? So with that being said, this is Historical Truths Revealed, giving you a little bit of history of Easter and Passover. Passover is what we should be celebrating, all right? Damn Easter, damn everything else. All right, I'm too excited. With that being said, shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
All right.